they are paying out cash hand over fist. But is this the right strategy, considering what some of the other big global majors are doing right now?
Well, I think it's more about what they can do. And I think what you're seeing is, as they sort of, they did increase their CapEx, but they disproportionately increased their dividend, and they sort of cut back on their domestic oil investment. I think what you're seeing is just that their fields are really maturing. And so, it's great as a dividend stock, and obviously it's a very stable company, but it's, I think it's illustrating their maturation, and then it's also illustrating the challenges. The headline is that they paid this big dividend and earned all this money last year, but when you look at it on a quarterly basis, over the last couple of years, earnings have actually been ticking down for Aramco.
Now, realistically, because obviously this is filling the Saudi coffers, they're obviously paying an exceptional amount of dividends. We know that they've had to, downgrade that production expectation in terms of going from 12 to 13 just for a little bit. But do you expect Aramco to get a lot more busy? Because, there's all this talk of nat gas, there's all this talk of, them expanding their interests around the globe. Should they get, considering their FCF, it was over 100 billion in FY23, should they be getting more acquisitive and doing what some of these oil majors are doing?
I mean, it's a tough question, right? Like, Saudi Aramco started with essentially the very best oil assets in the world. So anywhere else they go in terms of acquiring oil assets, those assets are going to be almost inherently inferior to what they're starting with. So I think I understand the idea of them sort of trying to ramp up their natural gas domestically. And I actually think it is pretty important when I look at what they're saying as well as what they're not saying. It does look like they're a little less optimistic about their domestic gas and shale gas potential, especially considering that they're looking at potentially investing in U.S. LNG in particular, where if you look at the returns on a project basis, especially for an external provider of financing on some of those projects, they're single-digit type returns, which I think would be actually very difficult for Aramco to participate in and still be able to meet their cost of capital and pay the sort of high dividends that they're paying.